Well, Luke, coming into this weekend, get a big road trip into Ferris State to Big Rapids. Knowing that this trip is a little bit further away, does that change the preparation at all for the group during the week?
No, it's the one game weekend let us kind of get right off and running. There was some in the tank. I think came Monday, Tuesday, a good hard day. Uh, we'll get through a lot of specials on Wednesday, and then guys will get over Thursday and get into a practice over at Big Rapids and be ready to go. Talented group that plays hard.
Looking at the game back on Saturday against Augustana, that's a good team that you beat here at home. How do you keep the same energy on the road? Because it's always more difficult to win in this league on the road.
Yeah, it'll be good to get on the road because it's always good for us to get together and be one schedule kept and get after that part. I thought the excitement, the win, the feeling, the hard work it paid off. Result, side of things. Um, I would expect nothing but the same.
You've already seen this Ferris State team once this year. You get to see them again for two more games. But, what challenges do they present as a team to your group? Because in this league, it's hard to win every night.
I mean, they do. I think when they can play a thick game together, they work. They have no problem on the offensive side. They create some opportunities for themselves. Probably got to catch them in some lapses of transition and maybe on the defending side. But we can all see the record, but I can tell you they've played better than the record, and maybe they've had a goaltending glitch here or there that hasn't allowed them to really take off and get going. So you just got to make sure it doesn't happen on your watch.
Mitch Fosberg?
Yeah, do you see anything different with Ferris State this time around as opposed to when you were prepping for them back in December?
No, except for I think a lot of their guys now have some longer experiences now that they've been going. I think some of those kids that transferred in and they brought in have played significant minutes, so you can see their growth with that side of it. So maybe I would just say that they had a new crew with some players and a new coaching staff, and I think they're probably further along now than they were there for sure.
Is there been maybe a little extra excitement knowing the fact that you get this Ferris State team, but this time for both these games you're a little fresher, a little healthier?
Yeah, I mean the first time around it was we're getting right into that part of being a little bit dinged up and behind. So I think the guys have some jam and some juice. We're about as healthy as we can get. There's still a healthy, unhealthy body out there that can't get around to it quite yet. But knock on wood, after this weekend, you go into a break weekend. Hopefully, catch everybody on all cylinders and be healthy, and then we're making a sprint for the end here.
How do you keep the guys focused knowing that you're just coming off a win, you got some off time next weekend, and just how you keep the guys focused just for this series?
It's I think the combination of we've had some really since school's been back in and we've had a second semester started here, and we've been healthy. I think our jam and our intensity in practice has gone through the roof, just with numbers and having some balance that way. We were very quick to remind them what got us going and how we've been playing was because of a result of the work they put in Monday to Thursday. So the first couple of days here of the week, definitely no foot off the gas on that side of it from them.
Does that loss from the Saturday game still resonate with you guys?
Yeah, there's some things you don't forget. There's some things that that Friday game was a pretty good game against them. The 4-1 loss, definitely disappointed. We weren't timely. We didn't really have it going in that momentum. And then I think when we had moments of the game where we could have, we didn't. So it's going to be, there's a red out over there. So we'll be a familiar jersey foe against what's going on there.
I know you guys mentioned previously that week to week you guys track who wins individual competitions and whatnot. Who are a couple guys that you're seeing starting to make some real big progress with this team?
On our side?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. You got to give some of the younger guys, I think, credit for what their their stick-to-itiveness has gone up as we've gone in. You can definitely see, I think, the game, Jordan Ron's game has gone way up, and that's been an internal, like he's done a good job with his ice time, but his internal day-to-day, there's actually a little inside joke around here about getting Ron, because like he works and he competes and he's a frustrating little redhead that goes after you a little bit on those sides, and so he's showed up on that side of it. I think those guys have, and I also would give credit where you can tell that some guys got a little more, gas in the tank, because the longevity of what they're bringing to the table has been sticking around. The competition that we keep here daily, the guys don't really even pay attention to practice. They want to know who's winning points and what points are on the board, and who's going to get them. And it's alive and well, that's for sure, on the competition side.
That's all I got.
Coach, I get asked by fans a lot, about the coaching staff and what each member of the coaching staff, what their specialty is. Can you kind of break that down between the coaches on the staff?
Yeah, there's a lot of moving parts, and there's a lot of layering as far as like Wardo does a power play, Keith does a penalty kill, Corey is in Troy really double up on the recruiting side. Corey does a ton of face-off work with their guys internally here, between opponent tendencies and ours. We're all very involved in the individual development side of it. So there's all of those parts. I think if you came to a practice, you would see multiple coaches working with different positions. Because there's just times when guys are on the road, so you don't want to be pigeonholed as far as like, Corey's on the road, but Corey's the only one that's worked with the forwards. So we got to make sure we got coverage on all of those sides. So I think it's pretty spread out. You want to understand the opponent's tendencies, and we, Keith gets after that part. I think he and I get into a deep dive of what we do scoring chance wise against opponents, and internally here what we do for our own team. And then I think when the plan unfolds, it's one of those, a lot of collaboration that has happened for guys taking ownership, which I'm a huge fan of. And in my position, like I need those guys to have ownership of what they do day to day. I'm not here to look after the work they do. I don't keep the hours they keep. They can keep whatever hours they need to do to get their work done. If they can get it done in 4 hours and it's the best 4 hours work that they can get, then perfect. If it takes them 12, then we're going to dig in and it's going to take 12. So I know our days here start very early in the morning. We enjoy to get a lot of work done before a lot of other people are on the road and the lights out and the sun's up. So it just lets us set our day pretty free.
A couple members of your staff have some extensive experience even at the higher levels. With the Olympics coming up, are there any connections that we should know about between maybe former players or anything like that?
There's former players. I mean, there's a few of my own former players playing. We're obviously excited for our alum that are going to get the crack to represent their countries. I know we just the debate in the room the other day was whether or not Gretzky and Lemieux would fit on Team Canada, and so we put up the 87 Canada Cup series and made sure they understood how good those guys were. It's funny to see those guys see hockey. They see it through a different lens, but then when you watch the players that passed make plays and do things, it's pretty enlightening for that part. It's going to be the best on best in the world, so we're excited to watch that. I think we'll take in quite a few games here as a group, and then there'll be a higher intensity, I think, to watch on the women's side, because we're excited for Sherry and Team USA. It's Keith's sister's the equipment manager for the team. Sherry's one of the coaches. We're all pretty connected with a lot of the people on both staffs, so excited to see that part.
Anything else, Mitch?
How cool is it for you to see Sherry get that opportunity?
Oh, I think it's awesome. I think there's two sides, and I would never want to speak for her on this side. I think when you're an assistant coach, as she's been here in the past, and you're involved in the national teams, and there's when you leave to go with those teams, you don't feel quite as bad because you're not the head coach, and now when she leaves here, which is going to happen pretty quick, to go join Team USA. When you leave as a head coach, there's a little birdie on your shoulder because you know you're leaving your group, and that's a difficult one. But I hope she just goes and enjoys the heck out of it, because what an opportunity, a life story opportunity. That group of women that put that, Katie and company that put that team together, they're outstanding people, and couldn't be more excited for her. And we just want them to win, and we want to wish them well.
All right. Thank you.
You bet.
Thank you, Luke.
You bet.